today. We've got a nice meeting today. We're going to work through some slides here, which, as everyone that knows me knows, I don't like PowerPoints very much, but this one, we'll try to make it brief. There's a few slides. We're going to talk about some of the new products that have come out here this year, and a lot of these are here towards the last part of the year. Some trending solutions from our software products that we integrate. We're going to talk about Windows 10 compatibility, as we are having more and more of our customers asking about Windows 10, and it looks like people are going to move their operating systems to Windows 10 much quicker than obviously from XP to Windows 7. We're going to talk about KODAK service cost increase and maybe some ways to beat that increase. And then finally, talk about the year-end incentives that we have through our vendors for products purchased here in 2016. So we'll work our way through the slides, and we'll have some questions at the end, and then we'll go from there. So let's talk about some of the new products. KODAK came out this year with the new 4000 series. These are the 4250, 4650, 4850. They've added some really interesting things to it. They've now added a interactive operator control panel, which makes this a great production type scanner. These scan from 110 to 150 pages per minute, depending on the model. We have interactive multi-feed resolution, so now if you get a double feed, you'll see this screen here pop up onto your PC screen, and it's going to say, is this correct? Should have been a double feed? And if it is, you just hit accept. And if for some reason it was a true double feed, you just pull the page out of the exit hopper, put it back in the feeder, and hit scan, and off you go again. So this makes it very easy to use the multi-feed detection and work your way through it if there are any issues. That same thing pops up on this is the display on the scanner, so you have that interface to use as well. But this is really a great addition to the product. Makes production scanning much smoother and lets you use all of the features of the scanner better. Second thing is now we can read barcodes within the scanner. So if you have applications that can accept the barcode directly from us, we can pass values along with the images, which is very helpful. You don't now have to use your third-party software as much. We have intelligent document protection. So in essence, we have a microphone built into the inside of the scanner. Anytime it hears any kind of noise where paper is crumpling, tearing, anything of that nature, the scanner is going to stop. So again, I'm trying to help protect those documents as they're being scanned. We also have the ability, if you need, to be able to scan documents straight through. So if you have heavy envelopes or delicate documents, you can now open the back of the scanner, and we can let them exit straight through on the paper pad, which gives you an easy way to do that as well. So that's the new i4000 series. As you can tell, there's been some updates to the older versions, which would have been like the 4200 and 4600. The second one we're going to talk about is the new i5000S series scanner. So this is the high-end production scanners from KODAK. And as you can see here in the picture, the sorters, so the S at the end is for sorting. So we now have a production scanner that has the ability to sort documents as they are being scanned into multiple exit hoppers. So here are the two different models. On the left is the 5650S. This is a desktop or tabletop model, and then you've got the full-size production. Really the difference here is the machine on your right scans at 210 pages per minute, and that platform can be adjusted, so you can move it up and down. We see a number of our customers. In fact, I have several customers now who have treadmill-type workstations that their associates work at from time to time. So if you have associates that like to stand up and work, you can actually raise this particular device up and work at a higher level and move it up and down. That's motorized within the device. Or if you just want standardized desktop, this is the 5650S, and it runs at 170 pages per minute. So what happens is we can do some basic sorting on the machine using like barcodes or patch sheets. So you can take patch sheets. Say I want to put the patch sheets into a separate hopper so that I can keep them sorted out. So a lot of companies spend an enormous amount of money on printing separator sheets or patch sheets that they use during the course of the year. A lot of them have done studies and said, it's less expensive for us just to leave them in the batches and not mess with trying to pull them out and reuse them. So they have a big printing cost. So the S model will allow you to scan, and the patch sheets will be put into a different exit hopper for reuse. Many of our customers are able to justify this type of device just on the print savings alone. Second, we have links, so if you have checks or envelopes or smaller documents, those can be sorted to separate pockets, and also special documents using some different toggle patch type sheets where we can put them into different pockets. It also has the ability with intelligent separation to look at barcode values, and based on the barcode value, actually send it to a different exit hopper. So there's some intelligence that you can build in. There's more of this type of thing coming, where we'll be able to do such things as change the DPI based on a patch code, change color to black and white, which is kind of something we can do today, but it'll give you more options for doing that. Duplex to simplex, imprinting on and off. It can do all those things just based on a simple patch code inserted into the batch. So here's some areas you might use them if you're doing checks or envelopes. You have special documents that need to be returned to the customer. You can separate those out into a different hopper. Your patch sheets. The other thing you can do is you can set it to have, anytime there's a multi-feed, to put the multi-feed into a separate hopper so you can easily find it, check to make sure it was a multi-feed, and then rescan it as needed. We also have a lot more ability coming forward as the second release of this come out. We'll be able to store it based on values into different hoppers, whether that's a different state, whether that's a different dollar amount, whether that's a different customer service person, whatever those might be. We can do verification by looking at the document types as they're coming through and put them into, if you have a wrong document in the batch, you can sort those out. And in the future, we're going to be able to put parameters about what you considered a quality image, and if that document as it comes through doesn't meet that quality image, it will actually put it into the different hopper. You have an opportunity to rescan it, where you may adjust the settings on the scanner to get a better scan. So that's some of the things about this machine. This is really the highest tech machine that Kodak has introduced in quite some time. You can see it here on the bottom right. This is your feeding hopper. Here's the two trays at the top, and then we've got an output tray on the back. So if you're scanning like long envelopes or FedEx envelopes, things of that nature, those are great to pass straight through, and then we can sort different things into the top one as well. The one thing that we don't have a slide here for in this device that's really kind of a cool technology is we now have staple detection capability. So what is in essence a metal detector is at the beginning of the feeder of the scanner. So if the document comes in and there's a staple anywhere in it, someone forgot to take a paper clip off, whatever that might be, it will actually stop. So it gives you a chance to get that prepped correctly before you tear it apart, as stapled documents sometimes tend to do when they go in together. So here's just a picture of the back exit hopper. So again, this is really one of the best production models. Well, it is the best production model Kodak has come out with, and really a lot of new good technology in it. So we're going to go from production down to talk about what I think is one of the more interesting things Kodak has done for quite some time. This is a wireless scanner. So this attaches to your network, just like a wireless printer might do that. So by doing this, you can actually use this scanner to be shared in an office group. And we have many organizations that has the need to scan, but not enough need that everyone needs a scanner on their desk. So within a department, you could have a device like this set up, and it could be shared by multiple people in the office. So since it's Wi-Fi, I could connect to it directly from my phone or my iPad, and I could scan to my phone or my iPad. I have the ability to connect to it from my desktop directly to this machine. So I would connect to it, I'd walk over, drop my pages in, they would scan, and they would show back up on my laptop. So it's a great way to share a resource, and gives you a lot of flexibility in the way that it can be configured. It is wireless, and it can connect to any tablet or phone. We actually have one here in our office that we use, and I have the application on my phone. I walk over, I start it up with my phone, I drop the pages in, I get it back to my phone, and then I can email it or move it over to my PC as I need them. So it's really easy to use and a good way to share a resource. Like all the KODAK machines, it has all the imaging technology, perfect page, reliable feeding, and this one will actually take credit cards, IDs, things of that nature that may be used in claims processing, things like that where you have those small cards that need to be scanned. Okay. So that's kind of the three new products that KODAK has introduced here in the past year, which are highly effective. They're doing very well. We've placed all of them except the S model, which has just been released in the last couple months. So we're really excited about that type of technology. The second area we're going to talk about is trends in systems and software. So the first one is KODAK Info Input, and this is really a web-based capture type of product. We've always had Capture Pro from KODAK, which is a really great ability to scan from workstations. It's a very simple and easy to use product, but it's a client base where you've got to load software on everybody's PC that uses it. If you have updates, you got to go around and update all of them. It's difficult to share licenses. There's some things about it that just don't fit into what really is turning into more of a modern architecture of business processes, and that's moving things more to the web. So the need that we found is that organizations want to automate the document workflows in their business. They want to be better at the front end. They've done a lot of work on once processing starts, but getting those documents into the process, they need to get better. Businesses want to centrally control and standardize how documents are captured. In many organizations, documents come into remote offices or into individuals, and the documents get routed to a central area. And most companies just don't have a good way of managing that. They do it kind of an ad hoc way or in ways that makes it difficult to track. So there's a lot of need for that remote and type of capture being more organized. There are departments who want to scan directly to the line of business system, so we can actually put a button into your, whatever it might be, your policy system, your accounting system, and when you click on it, it opens up our program to scan, and it scans it directly into your workflow process. Businesses want to avoid IT costs of having desktop software where you got to load it and manage it and maintain it, do upgrades. So they want to reduce that because it just takes more time and more money to support those kind of systems. If you're using something like Kofax or ENC Captiva, systems today that charge by the number of scans that you run through it, companies are trying to get away from that. They don't want to pay a per-click charge for every page that they scan. So that's kind of where they're looking for other ways of getting documents into their systems that can avoid that. And then a lot of organizations have field workers who need to submit documents via mobile devices. So we're working with companies today that do construction, where they've got construction sites all over the world and they're submitting documents every day. They have a need for mobile capture to be able to do that. You look at claims adjusters and claims management, there's opportunities there to grab these documents in the field and with your phone take a picture and have them uploaded into your system within minutes after it's been received by the company. So this is kind of the need that there is. The KODAK Info Input product, some of the highlights, you use it from any browser. There's no desktop installation needed. You can drag and drop documents right into the system, whether they're Outlook emails or Word documents, PDFs that you already have. It standardizes the scanner settings. So if I've got a scanner connected to my PC, I log onto the internet, get to the site, it downloads the scanner settings that we should be using. It's all managed centrally, so all updates and support is very easy to do. Uses your existing systems. You can plug it into your business applications. Since it's web-based, you can make high availability by having backup servers and switchover servers to do that. The licensing is based on concurrent users, so there's none of that page count stuff. It's a matter of how many users do you have, and then it's unlimited, the amount of work that you can run through it. And it has a really easy-to-use mobile capture system. So this is really the future with Kodak on the software side, and that is that web-based, thin client, making it easy to get documents captured, make it easy to manage that process. We've got one central place that controls everybody in the company, and they all connect to it through the web, which really minimizes the amount of IT support. So that's the new Kodak Info Input product. And then let's talk just for a few minutes about some of the capture solutions that we represent and integrate. And the reason these are important is because there are great steps being made in this. So we work with ABBYY, and they have a product called FlexiCapture. And there are different kind of documents that can be processed through that system. So, you know, when you think OCR, a lot of people think about this, fixed forms. You know, you've gotten a survey. I voted absentee in this past election. So my ballot will be read by OCR with an ABBYY engine-based product. Okay, so we all think about that as structured forms, and we know those. So there's a place for that, and we can work with those. So if you have surveys and those kinds of things, we can do it. But the second area is where the great strides have really been made in this type of technology, and that's where it's semi-structured information. You know, we know on this document, for instance, that there is some number of data elements that I need to pick up. I know there's an invoice on this particular one. There's an invoice, and there's a PO number probably, and a date, and different things. But they're all in different areas of different documents because you're not controlling these invoices as they come into you. So the technology has become much better at identifying where those data fields are based on kind of the headers and things around the data, and so that we can scan just about any kind of invoice in the system, and it reads it almost immediately. So this is where the area is getting much better, and we'll talk about a specific module that reads this type of thing. And then the third area is kind of unstructured, and this is really for correspondence coming into your company. And this is where, to me, the astonishing advances in the technology are taking place, because this is really the early beginnings of artificial intelligence, of being able to look at a document and discern from it what the customer is trying to do, what it is they want you to act upon. So whether it's a letter coming into the company or an email coming into the company, we now have technology that can look at that and determine what type of request that it is, and then pass it along to the correct person to be acted upon. So that's where the great technology strides are being made, and I think there's a really bright future for that. So with that, ABBYY has developed a couple of kind of custom modules that drop into the system that kind of are pre-made and ready to go to do these types of things. So the first one we're going to talk about is actually the classification part in a product called FlexiCapture for mailrooms. So in essence, what this is helping us do is you've got all these kinds of documents coming into your company. You have an invoice, you have a contract, an order, you're getting emails, all these different things. And so today someone looks at them, figures out what they are, who they need to go to, and then they get entered into some kind of workflow. So what ABBYY can do is look at those for us and determine, you know, what type of document is it, so I can put it into the right place. This is the kind of document that I have, and then starting the workflow into your workflow, going to the right person to act upon it. So that's what classification is. Mailroom, things are coming into the mailroom. We're going to look at them with software, figure out what they are and who they need to go to, and pass them along. So there's a couple of different ways that it can do this, or in some combination. We can do an image layout, we can do content, and we can do rules. And so you can use one or all of them in some combination, depending on your particular needs. So the visual outliner is just, it looks at what the form looks like. You know, for us to look at this, this is a W-2, but we know by looking at it that this is a W-2. And ABBYY can be trained the same way. It can look at this form and say, oh, that's a W-2, just based on the way that it's laid out. So that's kind of a visual way that you can identify documents. Second way you can do it is by content. So you can look at different parts of the document and take keywords and keyword associations and determine what it's about. And so in this case, you see my car and damage, accident. So we know this is a claim. So it uses these kind of things that we build through very easy tools that they have, that you put sample documents in, it runs the algorithms against it, realizes what those combinations are, and then when new documents come in, it looks at them and it compares them and it can tell what type of document that it is. So this content classifier is really cool stuff. And so we've got the manual classification, so you can still use barcodes and you can still use patch sheets if you need to. But what we're talking about here is being able to use visually looking at the document, to be able to determine what it is based on kind of the pattern or how it looks. Second, then we could go to content-based classification where we're looking at the words and the phrases in it and determining what type of document it might be. And then we can always build rules into all of that that can help automatically classify it as well. So this is really exciting technology. And this is where you can take it a step further to, the thousands of emails most organizations receive in every day that need to be routed to the right kind of people to make sure they're taken care of. So again, looking at subject lines, looking at data within the inside of it, pulling out insurance policy numbers or people's names. This can all be set up so that this could be looked at by ABBYY, figured out what type of document it is, who it needs to go to, and extract some of the key data points that they're going to need to have, that you're going to need to have in your system to process the request. So this is the cool stuff we're doing on email or on classification. The second one is being able to process invoices. So accounts payable, you're receiving all these invoices in from different companies. They're all different. How do you use this technology to data enter them for you without having to have someone manually key it all in? So in today's world, we're talking about taking either PDFs that a lot of people send their invoices now as PDFs to you as an organization, or they're still mailing them to you. But we can scan them in, we can monitor email addresses, we can monitor network folders. So we're going to grab all the invoices coming into you. We're going to run them through the intelligent data recognition. We're going to do some automated lookups. We're looking at data that you have in your system. You can find your PO numbers and match them up. And then we're going to take that data and pass it along to your ERP system. So this is a really great way to eliminate a huge amount of manual data entry that most organizations are still doing today in the accounts payable department. So when you look at an invoice, there's some pre-configured things, and if you take these invoices, the ABBYY product reads over 90% of this data right from the beginning without any programming, without doing anything to it. You can throw 100 invoices into the system from 100 different vendors, and we're reading well over 90% of that information correctly. So think about that. We can pick up the invoice number, the date, the buying unit from internally. We can find the supplier, delivery dates, purchase order information. We can actually pick up these line items and tell exactly what they are so that we can match them up to your PO. And then also for international companies, we can tell kind of the currency. So all this information is pre-programmed into the system to be read, which is really, really cool technology. And then we also can look at purchase orders. So if you have a PO for the particular invoice that comes in, we match the PO up to the PO in your system. Here's where we've got the image on the right, and here on the left is the PO matching. So we're actually pulling this data from your system. If this all matches up, we can pass it directly through. So in that case, the invoice comes in, it gets into the system, either it's scanned or it's a PDF. We recognize it, validate it, and then we match it up against the PO. If all that matches up, there really is no need for any human intervention because we have all the data and we verified all the data. So we just pass it straight on through to your approval process or on through to your payment process. So again, a great tool that they've developed is very functional. And then lastly, the other thing that they've done, which is unique to this field, is it lets the operator actually train a document. So most of these types of systems today, you need a programmer to go in and make any changes. Any slight change has to run through development. And you got development and testing and all those things that take time and a lot of resources. But what ABBYY has developed in their program is that if I see that the date has changed on the invoice from this particular customer, you can allow your users to just move the box a little bit to where it is now located and click train. And if you do this on 3 of these type of invoices, that change becomes permanent. So it doesn't take any kind of programmer, it doesn't take any kind of developer to make that happen. End users can actually train the system to be able to do that. And this is a technology that ABBYY will incorporate in the next release, which will be FlexiCapture 12, and that will be able to do that through all of their products. So now think about the time and energy saved by being able to make changes on the document by a user or operator without having to do development. I mean, it's a huge advance in what we were able to do in these types of products. Okay, so that's the end of the new product and the new trends in technology. If there's any of these that you're interested in, please just let your salesperson know. We'll be happy to get you more information about it. So now we're going to take a couple minutes and talk about Windows 10 compatibility. A lot more of my organizations are talking about this than I expected. So I have a couple companies who are starting to move to Windows 10 next year. So things that you need to know about Windows 10 as you plan and as your organization plans to move forward. All the current KODAK scanners in production, meaning that are being made today, are Windows 10 compatible. So that's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 series scanners. So there's no problems or no issue, not any issues with that. Capture Pro is Windows 10 compatible, so there's no issue with it as well. The rest of the scanners within KODAK's portfolio that have been discontinued are not supported in Windows 10. So that includes the 1000 series, which would be a 1200, a 1300, an i1400. Those are not covered. You know, your 610, 620, 660s are not, 730s, 750s are not, and the i1840 and i1860 are not. So if you have these model scanners and the company is moving to Windows 10, you're going to have to start thinking about moving up to a new scanner model, upgrading to a current version to be able to handle that. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about year-end. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. Okay, year-end incentives. So, like every company, there's always year-end incentives, and we work with our vendors through these. And so, from KODAK, we've got an enhanced trade-in promotion for the rest of this year, and it allows you to save up to an additional $2,500 per unit. So that's a great opportunity. If you've got a buying need that you're looking at doing early next year, you might move that up so you can take advantage of these incentives. If you have some extra budget money left over and there's something you're going to do next year, again, you might want to take advantage of that incentive. There's a 10% discount on all info input orders. So if you're looking at that technology, now is a great time to move forward. And then ABBYY is offering a 10% discount on all its FlexiCapture and then its recognition server product as well. These discounts are in place through the end of the year. You need to have your order placed by the 26th of December. And if you have interest in this or there's some part that you want more information about, just check with your salesperson. Based on the different models and your configurations, we can tell you exactly what those discounts could be and hopefully be something there that could help you. All right, so that's the year-end discounts. Somehow I've missed my service price increase. Bear with me. Okay. So I'm going to do this without a slide. So KODAK has announced a service price increase effective the first of the year. Those increases range from 3% up to 10%, depending on the different models. I can tell you that all current models, being the i5000, i4000, there will not be an increase in those. But everything else is going to be increased after the first of the year. So if any of you have I-600s, I-700s, I-800s, or the I-1800 series models, those are all production scanners with pretty good size service contracts on them. Those are all going up somewhere in the 5 to 10% range after the first of the year. If you want to avoid those increases, you actually could buy next year's service renewal yet this year at this year's prices. So if you've got those big renewals coming up next year and you want to save 5 to 10%, let us know. We can get you a quote, and we'll get those service renewals ordered in 2016 and be able to do it at 2016 prices. Okay, so that's the service part. Okay, so we'll open it up. I'll give it back to Olivia, and we'll see if we have any questions.
Okay, all right. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and just take everyone off mute, and if you have any questions, go right ahead. Sorry, I'm trying to take you off mute. My computer is slow today. Okay, does anyone have any questions? All right, well, I just want to thank you guys again for coming to the webinar. By the end of the day, I should have a recording up on our website, and I will be sure to send you that link. So watch your emails. If you don't receive it, please let me know. All right, well, thanks again, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.